Hi, guys. Welcome to the Get It Done podcast with Erin, the podcast where I talk to business owners about their business, allowing them to share their business, and also going into their journey as to how they got to where they are now. The idea, my prayer for the podcast is that um, someone that is just absolutely scared to do the thing will be inspired um to get up and do it because of something that they heard on the podcast, someone's story that has inspired them, um just something that they hear or they see through us would cause them to get up and do the thing. I talk to so many people, um just through the work that I do. Everywhere I go, people just talk to me, somehow open up to me. And most reasons why they're not doing the thing is just because they're simply just scared to do it. So hopefully we can get together and destroy the spirit of fear. So basically, when I talk to people, I don't know who they are. Most of the people are complete strangers. Some of them I've either met through giving them a facial. Very few are my friends and my family that are already in business. So she's here. So today we have Megan and I'll ask the stage. Hi, Megan.
Hi, Erin. How are you doing?
I'm really good. How are you?
Good, thanks. Good.
Good. I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us about your business.
Yeah, so my name's Megan Monger. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. I have my own private practice virtually, and I absolutely love it. I specialize in perinatal and maternal mental health. So that's kind of my jam, my bread and butter.
Yes.
Mhm.
And how'd you get started?
Yeah, so I kind of stumbled into the therapy field. Interestingly, my background actually was in kinesiology, exercise science. I wanted to be a physician assistant or nursing or something in the medical field. But I've always liked helping people. And then because I didn't have a 4.0 and in California, it's very, very competitive. I just kind of was like, what else am I good at? And everybody was like, well, everyone tells you all their deepest, darkest secrets kind of thing right away. And I was like, yeah, I think I would be a good therapist. So that's kind of how I got here. And I absolutely love it. I love helping people. And I think it's special to be able to sit with people in some of their like hardest times.
Nice. And what I guess tempted you, or what was the moment when you were like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna start the business. I'm gonna set everything up and I'm gonna do it. How'd you get to that point?
Yeah, burnout, honestly, is the right answer. So after school for therapists, we have to have 3,000 direct client hours. And so it takes up to 2 years, which is like the quickest. And oftentimes during your associateship, you have to work in county, which can be really, really difficult. They give you high caseloads of very high acuity clients. And also the pay is very little. And so I ended up working both in county mental health and then I worked for a private practice in Beverly Hills. So I really got to see like
Two different spectrums of
of
the
like social economics.
so it's so funny. I'm gonna pause right there.
Yeah.
So I was before I did this, I was a behavioral therapist.
Uh-huh.
I worked for two different companies. One company handled county, state casework, and then the other was a private company, and you get to see,
The
like
difference,
you're saying,
right?
yes, both
Mhm.
sides of the world really like
Yeah.
right next door to each other. It's just huge
Mhm.
difference. Yeah.
Huge difference. Yeah,
Sorry to
absolutely.
interrupt.
No, that's okay. I definitely like hearing about your experience as well. Yeah, I think it was I loved all the things that I've learned in both environments. It's just county was super difficult. And then private practice, honestly, was very difficult in its own right, the different types of clientele.
Yep.
But up in Beverly Hills, I learned a lot about the business aspect of running a private practice, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
But by the end of the 2 years, I was like, I cannot keep this going. There's absolutely no way. Because I was working like 60-hour weeks, very heavy caseloads. And so I was like, I'm just going to do it and I'll figure it out.
Nice. I had to, so my choice was either to open up my practice in that field
Hmm.
or go into skincare.
Yeah.
And one last incident that happened at work, and I was just like, there's no way that I'm like gonna create a whole business worth of this type of, so I just went into skincare. Complete life game changer.
Yeah. I love that
But
though. You bring joy to people, right?
yeah.
And make them feel good.
Yeah, it was the same way in that case. It was just much more stressful than it is over here.
Aw.
What do you see that sets you apart in your field of business?
That's a good question. So, in my field of business, I would say I do have the specialty in maternal mental health, which there aren't a ton of people who have their PMHC, which is that certification for that. And then I think also what I've come to realize with working with other therapists is that because of my background in the medical system and things like that, I also find that I have a more maybe like business and logical mind than some other therapists as well. I don't mind getting into the nitty gritty of like business. I enjoy learning it. I like the admin stuff. And so I find it's a nice balance for me between like my logical and emotional mind. You
Nice. What's your favorite thing about being in business?
The flexibility and the freedom, I think of it, you know,
Yes.
being able to take vacations when I want. I love to internationally travel. So to include that in is really important to me.
Yes, I agree. I was just thinking about that right before this podcast earlier. I was just like, I want to be able to like still work whenever I need to work, but I want to be able to just travel and still do work while I'm traveling.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the goal.
Mhm.
So what's the end goal for you? Or not, I don't like the how it sounds end goal, but like uh years down the line within your business, where do you see it going?
Yeah. I mean, right now I'm a solo private practice, so I'm just myself. A lot of people love going into like group private practices where they have other people underneath them. That's always a possibility. Right now, I don't know that that's necessarily what I'm looking for. I
Yeah.
really am happy in like what it is now, but I think I would absolutely love, like right now, my full caseload is about 24 clients. And I think I would love to be at like 15 clients and then have something that is more consistent each week that's a little bit more like admin or offering like workshops, intensives, other types of way for income.
Well, that's good. That's the beauty of being in business. We get to decide what we want and how it turns out, and how we display what it is that we're doing. Like we create it. So I absolutely love that about business. So it'll be whatever you want it to be. So I'm excited for you and what you create and develop
Yeah.
for your business. This could be personal or work wise. One thing that you've always wanted to do, but you just haven't.
Ugh, I love that question, first of all. I feel like that like calls to my soul. I think really recently something that's been on my mind and I really want to do because I do have the privilege of doing it, like you said, from working from home and virtually. But I fell in love with Italy a long time ago, and to work from Italy for like a year and just explore. And I'm like, imagine being on the side of like
Nice.
Sicily or something like that, like having your sessions and working.
Yes.
I think I think that's the next big thing that I really want to
Yes. How exciting. And a whole year to do it. And then the years
do.
go by so fast. And it's
Yeah.
like, why we have the opportunity, why we're able to do it, I say do it. So
Thanks.
take me some pictures when you get there, girl.
Yeah, you're always welcome to come visit.
One thing that scares you about business, if there is anything.
Hmm. Yeah, I would say I can be perfectionistic sometimes, and I love doing things well. And in business, there's no way to be a perfectionist, right? Like you
Because
have
you'll
to
never get it done. You'll never turn it in.
exactly. And failure is part of the process. One of my favorite books is called The Gift of Failure. And it really
Yes.
talks about how it's a benefit to us, right? The more we fail, the more we grow, the more we learn. And I think that's what I've realized in business is that we all trip, right? We all fall. And then that builds our self confidence too, to know that we'll figure it out no matter what happens.
Yep. Um, as long as we take the situation or take whatever it is,
Hmm.
um, and learn from it. Because sometimes some of us we continue to do the same thing over and over again. It's like if you don't get the lesson, you're gonna keep doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, the
So
definition of chaos.
yes. So we have to have that understanding. Um, do you think business has changed you at all?
Yes. Yeah,
Yes.
I think so. And one, I think it's I've always been pretty independent, but I would say like we all fluctuate throughout confidence, right? But I think it's made me more confident in myself and my ability to really get things done when I need to be. And it's reinforced almost how I see myself, I guess you could say, in the version that I want to be of myself, me continue to grow in that way. But yeah, there are nights when I was up until 3 a.m., like fixing my bookkeeping and things like that. Like it's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
I am proud of myself for doing that too. You should be proud of yourself for opening yours too. It definitely takes a lot of courage.
Um,
No,
I don't think I'm proud of myself. I
no.
mean, I know that I'm doing the work. I do know that I'm doing the work.
Hmm.
But I really don't think it's me because this is way too easy. I mean, I say that this is all God if you ask me, and I don't mean easy like I don't really have to do anything. I have to
Hmm.
do, um, but it's not like it's hard work. Like I think God is for sure working behind the scenes on my behalf,
Yeah.
and I'm just showing up, and He's just using me to do whatever. But I said this on another episode. I don't ever
Mhm.
want it to come off like having a business is not work because it most definitely is work. But for me, it's not hard work, but it is
Mhm.
hard to run the business. So I'm
Yeah.
saying two different things, but they sound the same. So I'm always trying to be clear on that.
Yeah. I feel like I get what you're saying. Like you enjoy
Yes.
it and it's not as hard as maybe like when I was working in county, I felt like my soul was being sucked from me a little bit. And this is
Yes.
very
Yes.
energizing, but like difficult in different ways. Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
Yes. I agree. And it's not that. It's light, it's relaxing, it's peaceful.
Yeah.
It's full of joy. Like it's all these things that like this could be anything but God. I promise.
I love that. Yeah. Like paving the
um, do you want or do you have children?
no, no kids of myself
No.
right
Do
now.
you want kids?
Yeah, I do. I do. I
Okay, they'll be here, girl, if you want them. 20 years from now, or not from now, 20 years after having children,
Mhm.
what will you tell your kids about this time in life right now?
Yeah, I think something that I personally have been going through too is just I've been single for like I used to be in relationships pretty consistently and more serious ones. And then when my last relationship didn't quite work out the way that we wanted it to, um I kind of was able to be more independent. And like you were saying, I almost feel like the universe or God was like paving a way that I was meant to kind of be with. Like I had some crazy roommate situations. I think I was meant to hustle and like live on my own and do my own thing. Because some crazy stuff happened, but it's really brought me to the place that I am now. And I truly love being by myself. I love being independent. I love my friends and like giving to other relationships in my life. And then when the right person does come along, I'll be ready for that too.
Of course.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
feel like reminding them that they're perfect and enough even all on their own.
Yes, I agree. And it's good to be in a space where you're enjoying because a lot of people live in positions or in spaces where they're always trying to get to the next place or space, or they feel like they have to do this to get here and do this and all these things, and they
Yeah.
don't sit in where they are and enjoy it and take that up and be thankful and grateful for where they are.
Yeah.
So I'm glad. I'm proud of you, ma'am.
Aw, thanks. You too. You too.
Thank you. What is something that most people think about you, but it's not true?
Hmm. I think a lot of people think that I'm patient, but I can be patient and I also cannot be patient simultaneously, especially with myself.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that would be one.
Yeah. Probably same because I'm always super chill and relaxed.
Mhm.
And it's so crazy because this is the reason why I have to only work with my, like, I can't have like a team around me. Well, I can. I just prefer not to because I'm so like, okay, why isn't that right? Or why, like,
Yeah,
so
I
I
know
don't
what you
do
like.
good with stuff like that because I'm used to always like being in control and like making the final decision and doing it this way and doing it that way. So yes, same. Beach days are rainy days in the house.
Hmm. Ugh, that's such a hard one. So I love variety. I get bored with monotony. So I do love the beach and I think it's peaceful. That's such a hard one. I feel like I want both. If you've ever been on like the Oregon coast, like I was there where the beach was in the mountains and then it was
Rainy.
raining and
Yes.
that's my ideal, I think.
Your blend. Yes, you like it.
Yeah.
That's cool. What are you most proud of in your business?
Mm. I think just getting it started, honestly. Like, I was one of the first people that I knew out of my cohort and things like that who started their own private practice and
Nice.
pros and cons, right? Like, I definitely burned out. I did too much too quickly. I don't know that I would do it the same again, but I'm
Of
appreciative of
course
all
we wouldn't do it the same because you have
the
more knowledge.
exactly. It got me here, right? So I'm like, can't
Yeah.
complain. Um, but yeah, I would say just getting it started and then continuing through with it, right? Like even during the hard times when you're like, ugh, like, am I going to get more clients? Things like that. You got to hype yourself up and keep knowing that you're going to do whatever it takes, I
Yeah.
think, to get to the place that you need to.
Yep. I say when you're in that space of you're trying to figure out how to get more clients, figure out how to get more clients opposed to like being, and this is to somebody that may have this issue, opposed to being uh so caught up on not having the clients, sit and think, literally use your brain and figure out way to get clients. And that is coming
Mhm.
from somebody that was in the position, and I had to figure it out. I had to figure out, okay, how am I going to get people in here? And it was
Mhm.
like a lot of thinking, but
Yeah.
it's work that you have to do to do it. They're just not going to just show up.
Mhm. Exactly. I think a lot of it is also getting creative in the ways that you
Yes.
can reach out to people and connect. And the more you can connect, the more I think they kind of show up naturally too.
Yep, I agree. But that's still even work
It's
doing
so
that.
work. Yeah. I'm introverted too. So I feel like naturally it can be exhausting sometimes, but I love it too. I love meeting new people.
Yeah. Oh, so I don't leave my house. So most most of the I get clients here.
Mhm.
I Everything I do my podcast setup. It's everything I do is online.
Yeah.
So the only interaction that I do have with people is once they get here for their facials. Outside of
Mhm.
that, um I'm all online. So I'm like, there has to be a way to figure this out where I don't have to like go and like, I mean, but I said that this year or probably next year, I'll start focusing on being more physically social.
Mhm. Yeah.
Who is your ideal client? If you do, you have an ideal client first?
Yeah, so my
Yeah.
specialty is maternal mental health, right? So I'm a perinatal mental health specialist. And so that really is from even from infertility, right? Or trying to become pregnant, all the way
Nice.
up until a year after birth. So it can include infertility, NICU parents, birth trauma, postpartum anxiety and depression, all of that kind of stuff, and just natural transitions, right? Like life transitions, your life changes so much during pregnancy and after. It can impact your relationship with yourself, right? There's just so much going on. So,
Yeah. That's a lot to think about.
mhm.
Do you think it is important to build a personal brand as a business owner?
Yeah, I think so. I think so, absolutely. Because I mean, it is a part of you. I think it's a reflection, especially as a therapist, right? Like it's a reflection upon who I am and what I have to offer. Even in the name of my company, like Sail Away Therapy, when I was coming up with a name, I was like, what really is a good visualization of like the outcome that we want from therapy, right? And it's kind of like sailing away from our problems a little bit, but like sailing through them. So like I don't want us to
Mm,
avoid them, but to like
right.
walk through them and learn the ways of how to process it and then come out on the other side of that.
Nice. Do
Mhm.
you remember how your name came to you, like when you finally thought of the name?
Yeah, honestly, I heard a song about sailing away and I was like, "This is it." Like, this is the name. I was like, "It's gotta be it."
Nice. I love that. So I usually do like a little, I don't know, I would call it maybe an activity
Mhm,
where I list a word, the first thing that comes to your mind, you list a word,
mhm.
vice versa. Whenever you say the first thing that comes to my mind, I say it, and we go back and forth for 5 words. Um, so that's what we're gonna do now.
Okay, sounds
Work.
long hours. It's a hard one.
I had a long sentence to go through my head, and I said, I think not. So my word is gonna be no.
That's a good one. So no to yes. Yes.
um, thank you, God. Oh,
Mhm,
uh, what is the word? It's on the tip of my tongue.
mhm.
Grateful.
Oh, that's funny. That was the word on my mind too. Uh, life.
Death.
Mm. Empathy.
Sweet.
Chocolate.
Mm.
I
Those are 5 words. That was fun. Can you share advice that you've received lately, or like
yeah.
a good word?
Hmm. I would say, like, for advice, things that I've gotten recently that I really appreciate from the therapy world, especially, is just that we don't have to be a martyr, right? Like, having good boundaries also models that, like, for our clients and for other people too. And so for us to hold that allows our clients to do that too more. And
Nice.
so to hold those boundaries, to be the best for like to keep trying to be the best version of yourself, right? And then to just take chances and to jump at the opportunities that we're given.
Nice. Um, so do you believe in work-life balance?
Very much so. Yeah, for sure. It's
And
important.
what does that look like to you? What is work-life balance?
Yeah, so work life balance, I would say, even though we talked about long hours, I am someone who doesn't mind working long hours, but I want less days a week, right? So I usually see clients like Tuesday through Thursday, and then I do have like a 4 day, like 3 to 4 day weekend usually. But the one day is like an admin day and networking and stuff like that too. But I
Mhm.
found that that allows me to feel really recharged and refreshed. And then also, like I said, internationally traveling is really important to me. And I feel like it fuels my soul to learn about other cultures and see different places and stuff like that. So I definitely, I try to do that at least once a year.
Nice.
Yeah. What does it look like for you?
I don't think I believe it. Like I don't think. I mean, but then it depends on, I guess, how I see it. But I don't think um that every day or every month or a set of time has to be this over here and that over there. I feel like whatever's going on in this season, like for me right now, this is like I'm just working season. But because
Yeah.
I enjoy and I love the work that I do, it's very easy, it's very relaxing. My goal is to have a relaxing life, which I do. I live a very relaxed life. And I always want to live a very relaxed life. So
Mhm.
work has to just be easy for me in order for me to do it, or I'm just not doing it. But saying all that to say, because work feels so good to me, this
Mhm.
is the balance. So
Mhm.
anything that takes me off the balance is just unrelaxed things.
Yeah.
And it there is no balance. It's just the season. Right now I'm focused on work.
Yeah.
And then when the season changes, when I can not work so hard and I'm doing more of these things, and that's what I'll be doing.
Yeah.
So a balance, no, but a goal, yes, there's always a goal. So
Yeah.
I just
I
work
would
towards the goal.
say yeah, sorry. I was gonna say too that I think that's a balance in and of itself too, though,
Yeah,
right? It's like right now that's your season, and then as that time comes where you can relax more and do other things, then that's the way it goes too, you know?
yeah.
Sometimes you do work a lot more.
But that's just the flow of life. Like
Yeah.
we just go with what's basically, we focus on what needs to be focused on in that time, and that's all it is. So if for me I had children, then when they get home from school, I would just have to shift in, like, or just whatever it is, not school, because they're going to be right here with me, they won't be at school. But whatever the situation is, we're just shifting and going according to wherever God leads us. That's
Yeah.
my point.
Yeah.
um Um, sorry. What would
Mhm.
you say that I just got caught in my thoughts, but what would you say
Yeah.
motivates you the most?
Hmm. I think, let's see, that's a good question. I would say one, it's just growth in life, right? Like, I think a value that I hold dear to myself is I always want to grow. No matter what, I never want to simply be like I want to be okay with where I'm at, but not completely, right? Like I think life
Yeah,
is all about learning in all
yeah,
of the ways that we can and absorbing and being a sponge and kind of just continuing to grow in different ways and through the different journeys of life. And then I would say also like my mom, I remember when she like worked as a waitress, right? And then she like went to college and now she's like successful in the tech world and stuff like that. So I've always looked up to her as well. So I think that motivates me to continue like busting down doors a little bit, you know?
yeah. Um, Yeah, I was telling one of my clients, no, who was it?
Mhm.
Oh, it was during a podcast, and she was saying basically the reasoning for her doing working hard and making all the decisions that she's making is because she wants her daughters to, she have two daughters,
Mhm.
and she wants her girls to grow up watching their mom do the thing, and she hoped that they would grow up to be I guess bold enough, strong enough to do the thing as well, whatever their desire is. And I told her, I was like, of course, like we watch our moms do and be, and when we grow up, we develop into that probably times 10
Yeah.
because we've been watching our moms be like powerhouses all our
Mhm.
lives. So of course we're gonna grow up and be a powerhouse.
Exactly.
If that's what our mom showed us, of course that they're
Mhm.
gonna grow up to be that. Um, so that just reminded me of that.
Yeah, and that's pretty awesome to be able to like pave the way and then hopefully for my kids as well, right? Like
Yeah.
then that's like a whole multiple generations of women, right, who have broken down stereotypes and things like that. Like she works in a very male dominated field as well, so I think that's part of it. So I think helping other people to understand like the differences between emotional intelligence too and learning those skills. It's so important, right? Just as humans, we're both logical and emotional beings. And I think in so many ways, we're not taught how to even kind of access those parts of ourselves.
Yes, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Um, So the podcast is I don't know if you heard the intro or not, but basically the reasoning for my prayer for the podcast is
Mm-hmm.
that someone that is just scared to do the thing would somehow hear or see something that was said on the podcast, to just inspire them to get up and do. So is there anything that you would have to say to the girl or guy um, that would possibly inspire them to get up and do it and don't be scared?
I would say just do it, right? Like that's the truth. Is it's okay to be scared, right? It's okay to be scared and you do it anyways, right? Like one of my favorite affirmations is I can do hard things. And so to remind yourself you can do hard things, you got it, and like who cares if you fail? What's the worst that can happen, right?
What's the worst that can happen? Right. I love that.
Mhm. Yeah.
Megan, is there anything that you'd like to discuss if you have any questions about or anything that we did not go over that we have not discussed?
Not so much, but I was going to ask you what made you want to become an esthetician and open
Uh,
your business.
um, it's kind of a long story, but not okay. So I'm gonna
Mhm.
make it short as possible. I was working full time. I knew I didn't want to be doing that at 50 or 40. And I knew I had to make like some type of change. That's one part of it. And then I've always known that I didn't want to work for anybody else. So I always known, I mean, I always knew that the ultimate goal was to be in business for myself. Um, So I had to figure out a way to going back to being at work. I had to figure out a way to one bring in extra money. So the idea was, you know what, I'm gonna find something to do to bring in extra money on the weekends. I want a couple $1,000s every weekend.
Yeah.
So my these are just my thoughts.
Mhm.
So I'm like, everybody that I know that's doing lashes, they're like killing the game. Like, okay,
Uh-huh.
so they're making all the money. So I'm gonna go take a lash class, do lashes on the weekends, and just figure this thing out.
Mhm.
So did further research, found out for whatever reason, I don't know why. Oh, because anyway, did further research, found out legally in California you had to be a licensed esthetician. I was
Mhm.
once I finished school, I was like, I am not going back to school. Like I'm over school. And then so I threw the idea out, a couple months passed, and then it just came back, like just see. So I started visiting esthetician school. The third school I visited,
Mm.
the lady was like, well, we have a new class starting on Monday. And I was just like, okay. So I left there, put in my notice at my job, effective immediately. I quit.
Mhm.
Monday, I was in esthetician school. Once I started esthetician school, the crazy thing is they required you to have an esthetician license to do lashes, but they did not teach lashes in
Oh,
school. So I had to take
yeah.
a separate class for that. I don't know if that's changed, but that I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's annoying.
Um, but I ended up falling in love with facials in esthetician school. And I've
Mhm.
been in love with facials ever since. I still do lashes. I open and close my books because it's not my ultimate favorite. Facials I can do every day, all day. Um, I started out before school, after school, and on the weekends, I would give free facials in my garage. My garage is renovated to a bar. But I would give just free facials all weekend, like I said, before school and after school. And then less than a year later, we had the studio built in the backyard, and here it is. Here I am. And I
That's
still love it.
yeah.
4 years later, and I'm still in love with my baby.
Aw, that's so awesome. Yeah. Takes a lot of courage too to do that as well, and to change.
Well, it wasn't for me. It didn't feel. I mean, I don't want to take anything away from that, but for
Mhm.
me, it didn't feel like I have to be courageous. It felt like either this or you gotta take your ass back to work. Excuse my language. I'm trying to
No,
stop
that's
cussing,
fair.
but it was either that or I have to go back to work, and I don't want to go back to work.
Yeah,
So this is just what I have to figure it out.
yeah, you're like, "I gotta do what I gotta do."
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's
that's what it is for me. But like
mhm.
I said, luckily I absolutely love it, and I'm 100% sure that if I did not love it, I wouldn't be able to do this because it's a lot of work. But I'm doing a lot of things, like everything that I'm doing, even the podcast. Like I really enjoy it,
Yeah,
um, but I wouldn't be able to do it if I didn't like it. So grateful and thankful that I love all of this stuff.
no, I love that, yeah. My last question that I was gonna ask you is, do you have, like, a favorite memory or moment with a client?
I have so many great moments with my clients. Like I've given a lot of facials, like
Mhm.
a lot, thousands of facials. Um, One client just called me. Tuesdays are my office days. I don't take clients, so I usually turn my phone off, do not disturb.
Mhm.
People are able to call. And I just do my office work, but I usually do it like around the house. I'm either like on the porch, just chilling, but I'm still working. So I'm
Mhm.
sitting on the porch. I get a phone call, and I was just like, okay, because I'm not used to my phone, just people just being able to directly get to me. So I
Yeah.
answer the phone, and she just tells me how much she appreciated her service, and um appreciated just everything that happened during this the facial. And she was just like, I just want to let you know that you're special. Why did I start like tear, like my eyes start? And I never cry or anything, so I'm just like, wait, what is going on? But I have so many memories. I don't have a favorite. I mean, I have a lot of memories. I talk to a lot of
Mhm.
people. People come and they cry, they open up their hearts to me.
Yeah.
Um, no, I have so many. I don't have a
That's hard
favorite.
to choose.
Yeah, I've never thought about it. So probably if I thought about it long enough, but I mean, I get to see a lot. So
Yeah. That's
yeah,
awesome that you get to connect with them on that level too.
yes, it is. It's sweet, and it's always special. It's always different. Um, but it started with me. So the first day that I worked in my studio, and
Mhm.
this was when I had first opened, and I didn't have anything covering the window. And I was looking out of the window. I see like just the trees blowing. I like how like the leaves on the trees blow.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I seen that, and then I just start like just tear. I'm giving a facial. Like I have a client on the table, and tears just start falling out of my eyes. And I just felt so grateful. It was the
Yeah.
weirdest thing. And then I had to get myself together, like, girl, you doing a facial. So I'm like, I had to force myself to stop crying. But ever since then, like it's just been sweet little encounters after encounters after encounters. But I'm grateful.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm sure you have situations like that as well. Like
Yeah.
at some point down the line.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think as a therapist too, it's not always they're hard, right? Like therapy is
Yeah.
difficult too. So you're gonna
Yeah.
feel like shit sometimes, and
Yeah.
excuse my language too, but and you're gonna feel really good sometimes coming out
Yeah.
of it. It just kind of depends on what's coming in. One
Yeah.
of my favorites, though, I guess you could say, or most is during my associateship or internship, I was working with kids and a 9-year-old boy who was like consistently depressed. Like we worked through so much art therapy and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't know, like something just feels like he wants to kind of stay there. And so I brought it up to him and I was like, hey, like, I wonder if you're just not wanting to be happy because you're scared to be disappointed again. And he was like, he thought about it and you could see his face change and think about it. And he was like,
Mhm.
you know what? Yeah. And it was those breakthrough moments. We call them like golden nuggets.
Mhm.
And after that, he was able to what we call like taking out of his backpack, right? And making himself a little less heavy. And then
Yeah.
we worked through it. And he had been in therapy for a while, but he was really able to like come out of that depression, which was really awesome to see. And it really is a gift to,
Yeah.
to be able to witness that.
Yeah. And to work with it. It's a
Mhm.
gift in itself to be able to work with people in that capacity. But I found that it is way easier to talk, like to be in those situations, in those settings, and especially as far as work goes with the kids,
Yeah.
because there's something that you can, and it's the same with adults, but with kids, it's much more,
Mhm.
it's easier to just say a thing and they be like kind of they're snapped
They're
out of
blunt.
it. And then
Yeah.
they open up to things. Adults, it happens with them as well, but for sure, kids, if you know that kid and
Mhm.
you know what to say, like it's instant. So that's the great thing about that. And to be able to watch that
Mhm.
while it happens is amazing. And that
Yeah.
was what I got from working with kids.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love working with kids. That's kinda actually how I got into
Yeah.
maternal mental health because I realized I had to do so much parent work that it was kind of starting later, and I was like, "Oh, like, I can help kind of from the beginning, right, and help with all those stressors."
Yeah. And kids are just kids. So they make everything so much lighter. And this is why I think, because I was able to work with kids, that situation is what helped mold me into being and believing, just to be grateful for everything,
Mhm.
because of the time that I spent with the kids and the families, and just seeing different dynamics on just some person that its income is way up here and the income is, it's just like all these different things.
Yeah,
But that has rooted me in, be grateful for what you have, because
absolutely.
you think one thing is one way, or just be grateful for what you have, because you never know how somebody else is living, regardless if they have money or not.
Yeah, it's true. It's definitely true.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so that was a great learning lesson in that season of life.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like there's always lessons that I learn from
Every
my
single day.
clients, people, right? Yeah. I feel like sometimes clients don't realize either how much we learn from them.
Yeah.
And that's so awesome too, right? Like that exchange. And I love that. Mhm.
I made sure I entered that into each and every
Mhm.
client that I said goodbye to,
Yeah.
each and every corporation and company that I work for. Like, th- this working with families and students and the kids, changing my life way more than any work that I've put in, because I was always the best one. But
Mhm.
whatever they got, I got 100-fold.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
yeah, it's a great blessing.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, it has been a pleasure talking to you, Megan. Thank you so much for showing up.
Mhm.
Is there any way that you prefer for people to, if they want to get in contact with you, how do they reach you? Are you
Yeah.
on social? One more question, two more questions. Are you on social?
Yes. Yes. I'm on
Yeah.
Instagram at the.wonderlust.mft. Or you can contact me on my website at www.sailawaytherapy.com, or you can email me at Megan, Megan, at sailawaytherapy.com, like a sailboat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Question number two, how important do you think, or final question, not question number two, but last and final question, how important do you think social media is to a
Mhm.
business?
I think so. This is twofold, right? Because one, I like that I get to connect with other therapists, practitioners, meet new people, right, in the community. I think it's such a good way for that in therapy. But what I found is it's helpful to put out the information, but it doesn't always necessarily mean that clients are going to come to you, right,
Mhm.
based on that Instagram. But I love sharing the information with the community too, because not everyone can afford therapy and stuff like that too, right? It is definitely a privilege. And but me myself, as like a personal note, like I don't love social media necessarily, so I feel like it's a complicated relationship. I think it's good to do, and I'm not the best at it, right? And I think people can find different like marketing ways to go about it that works the best for them too. Like for me, it's been kind of connecting in the community, and the better connections that I have in the community of therapists and supportive kind of um, like perinatal pelvic floor therapists and things like that, physical
Yeah,
therapists, lactation
that's
consultants.
just the way you use it. It's just
And
like business. We got to figure out, like,
what works for
okay,
you, right?
yep, that's
Yeah.
exactly what that is.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I love it. Thank you for answering my final question. You have, what is today? Thursday. The days are just, but
Almost the
thank
weekend, girl. Almost the weekend.
you have a great night, Megan, and you will be hearing from me most likely through text at some point. But thank
Awesome.
you
Sounds
again for
good.
joining.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me too. It was great meeting you and learning more.
Thank you. Same here.
Thanks. Bye.
Episode 30. um Episode 30. Like, it does not feel like I've recorded 30 episodes. I have yet to receive my 3 guy, male business owners on my schedule. I am looking to get at least 3 guys scheduled by Saturday night at 11:59 p.m. I set a goal to have 3 men scheduled. I do not have 3 men scheduled. I want them scheduled before Saturday. I want my goal met so that I can move on to whatever's next. Out of 30 episodes, I have only interviewed women. Nothing against the women. The women are out here killing it, like for real killing it. But we're the guys, we're the men. So it's been a journey. Would I say journey? Yes, I would say a journey. It's been a journey trying to schedule 3 men by my deadline. I don't know if the guys are shy, they're scared. A couple guys said that they would do it if I allowed them to take me out. No, sir, that's not what this is. um, Back to Megan. I am always excited to talk to the business owners about their businesses. She is out here doing it. Excuse me, she has a client base that she is trying to uh shorten, which is a great blessing to have a clientele, and you're like, okay, I want a little bit less. So super excited for you, Megan, to get to the point where you want to be at. I'm super excited for what it is to come in your business. Thank you again for joining. You guys, don't forget to say thank God for your blessings. Don't forget to say your prayers. Don't forget to take care of your skin. And don't forget to subscribe, follow, rate, do all of the things. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.